Okay. All right, we have a couple things due today that I want to cover. We do have homework due today, so at some point before the end of class, if you have not turned in your assignment, that was the one about wages and annual wages, make sure you get that turned in. So that is due. It was turned in. Due today. So, I think some people have already turned in. I just want to make sure everyone had a chance to get that turned in today. All right. Here's the concept today. We're going to talk about the time punch card idea again, that electronic punch that we did yesterday. The goal today is to go more in depth into what that example was yesterday. I introduced it. We didn't go very far into it because there was still a type of problem we have not even done with that, which ties into that first assignment. There was a whole random reason why I did all that. So let's start with the first example. So again, we're doing time cards still. So it's the third section. So this is 1.3 if you want to keep track of your section numbers if you're that person. So time card. Did you guys see that, or is that really faded?
No, that's good. Good.
That red doesn't look right. Okay. Anyway, the goal today, we're going to do a couple examples of how to mix, the time card with your hourly wages. Now, this is the part where we have not done that yet. I've done the example of like how to find how much time you work over the entire day, especially if you have a weird time card thing going on. But with an hourly rate, that is completely different. We got about half of what we needed to yesterday. Because today we have to actually convert and calculate down exactly how much you're gonna get paid. I'm not gonna do the whole tax thing today. That's not what we're gonna do, that's too much. I wanna basically figure out how much time you worked, what the pay is gonna be and I don't care about taxes. We're just gonna ignore that part of it. Okay, so time card. All right, so let me give you an example. Let's start easy and we'll kind of work our way to the more challenging one. So let's say we're punching in at 8:15 in the morning and we're gonna punch out at 11:45 a.m. So this is AM to AM. Okay, you're just working a small day, maybe just a few hours in the morning for whatever job you have. Maybe it's a summer job. Okay, so to punch in, since it's in the morning, do we need to make any of these military time? No, it's all morning, we don't have to. It's only when it goes to afternoon we switch to military, where we add 12. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the later time, the 11:45, that's gonna go on the top. The 8:15 is going on the bottom. And we're gonna subtract. Okay? Now, I don't have to carry anything. I always want the top number to be bigger than the bottom number. If you have to borrow from minutes, just borrow one from the minute, carry it over, make it a 10 on the other one. So if you borrow from the 4, make that a 15. If you borrow from an hour, you have to add 60 minutes. That's the part that always gets people. You're not borrowing 1, you're borrowing 60. Okay, so what's 5 minus 5?
0.
0. 4 minus 1?
3.
And 11 minus 8?
3.
3. We worked 3 hours and 30 minutes. Okay, easiest concept most people can count on their fingers. 3 hours, 30 minutes. Okay, do we feel comfortable with the whole idea of subtracting? Now I'm starting easy. We're gonna ramp our way up to stupidly difficult here in a minute. Does that make sense? Okay, what was minimum wage again? What did we talk about the other day?
$7.25.
$7.25. God, it's still low. All right, $7.25. Okay. So, minimum wage. Minimum wage is $7.25 an hour. Okay. So let's say you just got a summer job. You're on minimum wage because you're an adolescent. I'm not joking. There has been jobs in this area that will offer you less than minimum wage because you're not a full-time employee. It's that stuff is very illegal. They need to know that. It has to be minimum. They always try to get away with it. It's illegal. Let me take the job. So, all right. So here's what we need to do. This is the part where calculating what your wages are from this is the tricky part. This is the new stuff we've never covered. What you have to do is you have to convert everything into hours. Because if you actually look at your minimum wage, it's per hour, not per hour and 30 minutes. So to convert this to hours, here's what you do. It's gonna be 3, and you're gonna add the minutes on, but you have to convert minutes into hours. So the trick is, whatever these minutes are back here, divide that number by 60. So if you divide this by 60 on a calculator, so divide it, what do we get? You probably already know. 30 divided by 60?
2.
Half. 0.5. So, 0.5, all right. So, was I right? It said 0.5 on the screen, right? Half? Okay, here's the idea. Why I did that. Whatever that half is, the decimal, you're adding that directly to the 3, so now you're at 3.5 hours. This is just how it calculated it. That number is what you're going to use on the minimum wage. You're going to take this 3.5 now, because that's the 30 divided by 60 is the 0.5. You're going to take that 3.5 and you're taking it times your hourly rate. 725. So on your calculator, let's multiply that out. What do you get? 725 and 3.5.
25.37.
0.37. Okay. Over again?
What?
Should be 38.
Okay, 38.
0.38, yeah, around. Okay, 0.38. Rounding, I'd take the last one was a 5.
Yeah.
Round it up. Okay, all right, buddy.
Yep.
If you're within a penny, I'll give it to you. All right, now here's the idea. That's what you just got paid for that 3 hours. Now that is not what tax is coming out. You got paid $25 for your 3 hours you put into work. That's it. Questions with the basic concepts of what we're doing today. Now, this is an easy problem because I made it in such a way that it turned out to be a nice, perfect 30 minutes, half, 0.5. The minute it's longer, like there's more minutes, so where it gets really complicated, the decimals change, like this decimal becomes longer and longer and longer, and then you have to deal with that decimal, take any times your minimum wage or whatever you're getting paid per hour. So, yeah, so just keep that in mind. Like this could be a lot more processed depending on like what the minutes are. Let's do another one here. Let's do one where we're in the afternoon now. So let's go, we're gonna punch in at 12:15 p.m. in the afternoon. And we're gonna punch out at, let's punch out at 4:05 p.m. So you're punching in, punching out. So here's my question. Do we have to change anything to military time?
Yes.
Absolutely. We're in the afternoon now. So since we're past noon, you probably should change it to military time, just to make sure that everything's, is up to date here. So change this to military time. You're gonna take this and you're gonna add 12 to that later time. So if you add this is now 16:05. You don't have to put PM on it. In military time, it's automatically assumed that's after, when it's past 12, you're in the afternoon. So 1600. You have your 12:15, and now we're going to subtract. Now, I can go up to a point where I can actually subtract, and then when I have to borrow, you're going to have to either borrow from the minutes or the hours. You're going to have to figure that out. So 5 minus 5, can I do that?
Yes.
Yeah, 0, right?
0.
0 minus 1, I
Zero.
can't do it. So at this point, 0 minus 1 I can't do. You're going to have to borrow from the 16, making that 15 hours, and you're going to have to add a 60 to this, because you're borrowing an hour, which is 60 minutes. That's the part that always confuses people. You're not just borrowing 1, you're borrowing a 60 for 60 minutes. So this number now, instead of a 0, is now a 6. Now, if there was a number there, like a 2, then it's going to, or I guess it wouldn't have to be, but if it was a 2, then you'd add 6 and 2 together to make 8. So just keep that in mind. So now it's become a 6. 6 minus 1, 5. 15 minus 12, 3. And so it's 3 hours and 15 minutes. So now here's the idea. 3 hours, 15 minutes. We have to convert that. So what do we have to do with our minutes? What did I say earlier about our minutes?
50 times.
Divided by 60.
About 50 divided by 60. Boom. Divided by 60, we get our decimal. I need, what is 50 divided by 60? It's a weird decimal.
0.75.
0.83. Yeah?
You just make it up numbers this weekend. Stop throwing out random numbers. All right. 0.83. So it's the 0.83 gets added onto the 3 because we had the 3 hours earlier. So here's my amount of hours that I'm working that afternoon. I'm working 3 hours and 3.83 hours. So almost 4 hours. Okay, so now here's where we're at. The last step is you have to figure out what your pay is. So you still take your hours times whatever your hourly rate is. We're going to assume that we're going to do minimum wage. So $7.25 times 3.83. You're going to multiply this. This will be your pay for that day. I'm expecting it to be around the 25.
27.77.
You just made that up.
No.
I'm worried that you are. And you're correct. 27.7. That was good.
Thank you.
Just had me just throw out a random number. I write it down. People watch videos like, pretty good. Definitely don't have the best. Okay. Does it somewhat make sense? Like the concept we're doing. Now, obviously, I'm mixing a lot of stuff together here, right? The book does not give you do any of this. The book basically just says, hey, here's a punch card. You're punching in and out. They give you like, you punched out at 4, you punched in at 3. Like, no one in their right mind is ever punching out at exactly 4 and exactly, 3. Like that doesn't make sense. You're punching out at weird times because you're in the real world. You're not going to be punched out at the exact, minute. So you have to deal with how to subtract. Now, obviously, like what we talked about yesterday is like, this is all electronic based, right? You can use an app that does all this stuff for you, which is great. That's fine. But here's the thing. It's kind of nice to know how to do it by hand when the technology fails you. Because it, at some point, will fail. The batteries will run out. That type of thing where it's kind of nice that you can actually subtract. You can use the basic concepts that we're doing here. Because I can multiply this by hand if I wanted to. I just think it's a lot easier if we don't. So, all right, questions with the 2 problems I've done. I'm gonna do one more, and then we're gonna kind of see where you're at. I'm gonna test you out on one. I'll give you one problem, I'm gonna see what you can do on your own. The next part we're gonna do, it's like this, but I'm mixing both of them together. Okay? So, all right, I'm gonna leave those on the board. I'm gonna actually go to this board here. So, if you guys wanna move, so you can see that board, I'm gonna change the camera. Okay.
I'm sorry.
All right, that'll work. Okay, here we go. Okay, so we're gonna mix a problem where we're doing like morning and afternoon. So let's say you had an early morning. I was here this morning at about 7:20. I'm gonna punch out for lunch. Let's say I'm punching out at 11:39. I'm gonna punch back in at 12:06, and I'm gonna punch out at 3:40. That's my day, right there. So, now, obviously, my electronic time card does this automatically on the computer, but this is literally like when I punched in today. Like, these are my actual numbers. So, to figure out what the pay is, right? So, I gotta figure out the hours. Now, obviously, I'm doing a morning and afternoon session, so I'm gonna have to figure out total hours, not just, just a morning and just an afternoon. I'm gonna do both at the same time, combine them, and then I'll do my minimum wage. I'll just do $7.25 because that's the number we're gonna use in homework anyway. So, all right, so do this first one. Since this is AM, I'm just gonna go 11:39, and I'm gonna subtract the 7:20. Okay, we'll convert that here in a minute. Okay? So subtracting these out, 9 minus 0. 9. 3 minus 2. 1. 11 minus 7.
4.
4. So I worked 4 hours and 19 minutes. We'll convert that to decimals here in a minute if you want, or we can just add them all up. It's kind of up to you here in a second. Now let's do the afternoon now. We'll come back to that. Afternoon. I'm going to make this military time just so it's easier. So making this military time, this is 15:40. I added 12 to it. The 12:06. Close these. and we're gonna subtract these out. Now, to subtract, I'm gonna have to borrow from the minutes, right? So I'm gonna have to borrow from the 4, making that a 3. And since I'm borrowing from the minutes, I can just put a 10. I don't need to put 60 or anything like that, I'm just borrowing from the minutes. So 10 minus 6.
1,
4. Okay. 3 minus 0.
3,
3. 15 minus 12.
3.
3. So we got 3 hours, 34 minutes. Now, this is where it's kind of up to you whether you want to do it this way. We could add the minutes and the hours right now. We could add those two together. And then get a total minutes, total hours, and then convert that to decimals. Or we can convert each to decimals right now and add those up second. It's kind of up to you. I don't know how you guys want to do this for this. You guys want to just add the minutes and hours right now?
Yeah.
Okay, let's just do that. So, okay, we're gonna do this first before I start converting all to decimals. So, 4 hours, 19 minutes. The 3 hours, 34 minutes. Okay, so adding these up, 9 and 4 make 13. That makes 53 minutes total there for my minutes. I don't have to carry any over. I don't have an hour or anything like that. The 4 and 3 make 7, so I have 7 hours, 53 minutes total for work today. So not quite an 8-hour day, but you get the idea, right? All right, last step. I'm going to convert this to decimals and then go ahead and figure out what my actual hourly rate is. So converting this, I'm going to divide this by 60. So 53 divided by 60. And I'm going to add that to the 7. So 7.6.
3, 3.
83 again? Oh yeah, we did that one earlier, didn't we? 88.
88.
88.
No.
Yes.
That's not right. It's 8833333. Oh, yeah, you did. That's something.
Okay, yeah, 883. All right, so 7.88. So these are my total hours, and then the idea is that, and that's converted to hours. Then what we're gonna do is we're gonna multiply that by my 7.25. I'll do my minimum wage. I'm not getting paid that, thank God, but I multiply that together. I'm, $50 mark, somewhere in that.
57, 13.
Yeah, 57.15. All right.
13.
57.13.
Yep.
There you go. There's my pay today. Now, obviously, I don't get paid that. I get paid significantly more than that, but you get the idea. Okay. Questions about the concept here? Okay. Now, I know I'm throwing you in the deep end. Let's like mixing everything into one. I think your first assignment is like just focus on like just morning or just afternoon. Like they're just having you practice that. The second part of an assignment, I will eventually give you like everything at once, where you have to do morning and afternoon and then do everything together. So the only thing I'm really worried about is when we get to the second one, we're gonna do one of these tomorrow, where this actually adds up to be more than an hour. We're gonna do one of those tomorrow. But that's the concept. All right, I'm gonna give you one example today. I wanna see what you can do. This will be your last one of the day. Last one, okay? So, I'm gonna put it over there. We're gonna use every word today. Okay, so last one, this is my one example. I wanna see what you guys can do with this. All right, let's do a normal time. Let's say you punched in at 8:25 this morning, and you're gonna punch out at 11:43 for lunch. Okay, I wanna know what your total hours are, all that good stuff, and you're getting minimum wage. You can move around, you can sit wherever you like, you can use a calculator if you need to, but minimum wage $7.25. I wanna know your total for the pay for this day, and you're just working a morning session, that's all you're doing. This will be our only problem today. Bless you. have it, I kinda wanna know, I wanna see what, but
Three for yes. How's it get 3.36?
Is it like the 3/6 is?
that's 18
That
divided by
18 divided by
60.
60 was just 0.3,
Hold on.
wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yes. 18.
Yeah, I-
60.
No, I didn't.
23, I don't know about the 0.6, I wrote the 18, and then you took 18 divided by 60, right? Which was, you just took that times 7.5, didn't you?
I just Googled it. I know what the answer is.
Which is?
20. Well, I haven't done it yet.
Oh, okay. I want to see it from everyone, I want to see it on paper. We'll talk through this, our last one of the day. It's an absolute honor. Then I'll give you some time, you'll have about 10 minutes you can work on homework that you didn't finish up yesterday's, which I think most, I think you guys gotta turn in. All of them.
From 90 what?
Alright. So calculating there, and you can see the right decimal there. I wonder if you forgot to convert your minutes to hours. It's something similar that a couple other people did. Eric, when you're good, you just let me know. We'll kind of walk through it here.
Mine's pretty good.
All right, let's walk through this.
Don't read these.
Okay, first thing, what do we have to do? What do we have to do? First, what do we need to do?
Well,
Do 11:43 minus 8:25.
Good, I agree with that. Now, here's my secondary question. Do we have to change anything to military time?
no.
No.
Definitely not. We're not going to the afternoon, we shouldn't need military time. Okay, so it's just morning. To subtract, you have to have top number minus bottom number. Well, I need to borrow from the minutes. So if I borrow from the 4, what does that turn into?
3.
3, what does the 3 turn into?
13.
13. We don't have to add 60, we're not borrowing from hours, right? 13 minus 8, or sorry, 13 minus 5 is?
8.
8, said it. 3 minus 2,
1.
1. All right, so this is where everyone was getting to. I saw a lot of 18 minutes, which is good. 11 minus 8,
3.
3. Okay, so here's the hours we're working. It's not 3.18, it's 3 hours and 18 minutes. So the trick is we have to convert this 18 minutes into hours. This is the part that I think 3 people just, when they first started, they forgot, just by accident. You have to divide the 18 by 60, because we have to convert that to hours. I want to know what this is in terms of decimals of hours. So this is 3 point, and when we divide 18 by 60, we get 0.3. It was like a nice 0.3, right? So we have 3.3, and this is the hours we work that day. Now, why do we do that? Is I need to convert the minutes into hours. That's why we do it. So now we have 3.3. We're going to multiply that by my minimum wage. And we should get 23, what, 93?
92.
92.5 or something like that. So it was, I would accept either, because if you're within a penny, I give it to you. Okay, questions. The most common mistake that I saw from at least a couple people in here was forgetting to convert this, so you just took 318 and you took it down to 725, and you got like 2360, which is close, but you're off by too many pennies. You have to convert to hours, so you can actually do that. Okay, make sense? Done for the day. That's it. No homework, nothing like that. We have homework due today. Make sure you get that turned in. Tomorrow we'll do some more.